Welcome to The Heart of the Matter, a podcast that covers legal developments from around the world. I'm your host, Stephen Lai. This podcast is brought to you by Conventus Law. In this episode, we'll be looking at the future of ESG. Joining me in this discussion are lawyers from the Stevenson Harwood Hong Kong office, Penelope Shen and Ziwei Ng. Before getting to the heart of the matter, a message from our sponsor, who generously supports this podcast.
Ashford Benjamin was founded with the belief that search firms should offer a better service to clients and candidates. This means taking the time to provide a genuine partnership, understanding our clients' and candidates' needs, and proactively advising on the best course of action, utilizing the decades of experience in our industry specialisms, including risk, compliance, business and legal recruitment consultancy, located in central Hong Kong, serving Asia Pacific.
Welcome back, Penny. Welcome back, Ziwei.
Hi, hello, Stephen.
This episode, we're going to be looking ahead a little bit in the future for ESG. But we do want to address one thing before we talk too much into the future. And one thing is, I want to highlight greenwashing. I see that term branded around more now. I guess it's natural. If you're going to see more ESG headlines, you're going to see more things like greenwashing. Penny and Ziwei, can you tell us exactly what is greenwashing, first of all, and how does this affect the ESG movement, if you like?
Greenwashing or ESG washing or SDG washing or rainbow washing, because the SDGs are in rainbow colors. Essentially, they're all referring to how do we know someone who claims that they are ESG compliant or making certain ESG impact that they're actually doing that. And I think that with more awareness on what is ESG and why we should embrace this new lens towards doing business, while greenwashing may not go away, it would just be harder for it to sustain because people will increasingly be able to see through the window dressing actions. And a key to this is data and also asking the right question, right? So regulators are definitely, as I mentioned in the first episode, regulators are becoming more and more stringent and asking for more and more detailed disclosure. Say, for example, in relation to supply chain, in the past, it may be okay for a company to just disclose that it has an anti-modern slavery policy, but increasingly NGOs and consumers may be expecting to see that there is a real grievance mechanism, a way for workers along the supply chain to make anonymous reports, say, for example. So as the sector further substantiates each of the E and the S and the G issues, it will just be harder for green or ESG washing to last. So that is one part of my answer. It is not only just expecting the service providers to provide more data. I think as investors and companies, we also need to continue to educate ourselves on what is ESG about. As a sector, how can we not create scoring, say, for example, where one company can score very high on E but low on S, or vice versa, but still ranks high on the index? How can we better understand the consequence of closing down plants that may be polluting, but still take care of the job aspects of such a transition? How about carbon offsetting? Is it creating a false sense of achievement while not really contributing to reducing carbon emissions in the first place? So there is definitely still much to learn and get better on by all of us. And but ESG as a direction is definitely not reversible.
Penny, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I guess coming more from a legal and regulatory perspective, I think the regulators are, fully aware of the potential of greenwashing when they roll out these policies, but they also acknowledge that it will take time and, like Ziwei said, familiarity and know-how for people to really can see through this window dressing in the longer run. But again, I agree totally, is that just because there might be greenwashing doesn't mean that, we should not proceed with ESG, because I passionately think that it should be the way forward.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, I guess it doesn't matter what you do. There's going to be crime anyway, right? There's going to be people trying to do a shortcut all the time, no matter what you're doing.
I guess taking more action in raising the standard of ESG is very important because we also don't want people to lose confidence in ESG. So yes, we should not be throwing the baby out with the bathwater with all the challenges and controversies, but we also need to step up in addressing ESG or greenwashing for sure.
Before we leave greenwashing, how can you tell? What are the telltale signs of greenwashing?
I can say that there are ways that may help. There are ways that may help you do some of the homework. Say, for example, if there are well-respected third-party certification, or say if there are a B Corp, which is a growing community of purpose companies that make a commitment to looking after stakeholders' interests as well as shareholders. So yes, and then asking the right questions, not just relying on ratings, but really looking at what formula they adopt, like the example you shared earlier on. What are the factors that they're looking at? So yeah, I would say is just becoming deeper and deeper in your ESG journey and knowledge building. Yeah.
So basically, keep streetwise, ask questions. Would that be a fair comment?
Like I agree, you said, that this you can't really tell right away. So the only way is due diligence. Like again, taking what Ziwai said earlier, the company can be very good to their employees, but at the same time emitting a lot of carbon. So how do you balance that? And you can only find out more until you ask more questions. So it's a journey.
Has technology played any role in ESG now? And do you think it's going to have a role to play in the future of ESG?
Yeah, for sure. I think, and one of the biggest is getting the right and comparable data, which we have been talking about. Tech solutions is, of course, key to many of the development challenges that we face. And on the impact measurement side, which is also key to combating greenwashing, how can we get and measure more relevant data on the impact that businesses say they create, both positive and negative? Yeah, all these hopefully would be made more available by better tech solutions.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
this is a really broad question. Tech encompasses so many things. It could be media, it could be like data analysis, computer programs. It could be machinery, like the machinery trying to extract carbon, out of the air. All these will play a part. And as a more lighter note, we mentioned this in our previous seminar. Robert Downey Jr. has rolled out a sustainable fund financing startups that focus on sustainable development. So all these are looking at basically just looking at different solutions to move to, I guess, promote ESG. And I guess a lot of times on the E side, trying how are we gonna meet all these global targets of net zero or net neutral that we all have to face going forward.
Technology it has a role in everything now, doesn't it? It's one of those things. I think in the future, the term tech may not even apply anymore. It's just new. It's just normal, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. It's absolutely fantastic having you on this series and sharing so much of us. Really appreciate it. And once again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, listeners, for listening. And I look forward to talking to you on our next series.